welcome back to Notier's Frontiers Diaries. Today we are in Colorado and it is gorgeous, perfect day. And in this episode we're going to talk about going north through Georgia and into Illinois where something terrible happens.
Well, it started off fairly lucky. My uncle,
He has a cabin in northern Georgia and said, you know, we're not going to be there, so if you would like to stay in the cabin overnight, that would be fine with us. And so that is what we did. We didn't know what to expect, and we'd never been into the mountains of Georgia before, but it was gorgeous. A beautiful little trail went through the mountains and twisted in through the forest, and when we pulled up we could hear this water rushing.
yeah, there's a little creek that went through his property, and it was a fun little like back trail, if you will, that led to his little remote cabin. So all in all, it was really nice to get there.
Yeah, and there was this incredible thunderstorm overnight. Huh?
Thank God we're not camping tonight.
Yeah. Beautiful from a porch,
but not so much when you're in it.
which was also very fortunate because first of all I love thunderstorms, but only when I'm not camping.
Yeah, setting up in the rain is awful. And then when everything's wet and you got to pack it up into your side pannier,
It's muddy.
it's
and,
awful.
No, not fun. I mean, I love camping. We love to camp.
For sure.
But just in a thunderstorm, it's not always the best.
We had camped one time in southern Tanzania, and everything was awful and wet. Got to a little hostel. We unpacked all of our stuff and we said we want to stay here for like 4 days just to unwind.
Shit.
Then on like the 5th day when we went to finally take back off, I opened up my pannier and all of the stuff that was wet was just mildew and mold, and I was like, I went to the guys that were staying one more day. Yeah, and do you have bleach? So just when it's raining, you know, we've done it 100 times, but we were happy that my uncle had a cabin in the backwoods of northern Georgia, and the thunderstorm was amazing.
It was so cool, and we really felt like we were in our own little private forest. It was just really nice to be in that cabin for that night.
Yeah.
And then the next day, we were also not going to camp that night because we were heading through Tennessee into Illinois, where you have other family as well, and we were going to stay with them.
It was a very nice family trip over the Notiers.
Yeah, it's wonderful when you can connect the dots and be able to stay with friends and family wherever you go. Unfortunately, though...
We're going down the highway, and it was under construction, and something was just off at the front wheel. Like, it felt like I was kind of riding on cornflakes, and it didn't make sense, and
it felt wobbly.
It felt a little wobbly. Again, the road was under construction, so there's some nasty little, you know, we had to merge over the rivet strips and back, and so I was like, well, maybe I'm just over-examining this.
Yeah.
But I pulled over because something wasn't right, and I asked Marissa, I said, make sure that the front wheel, there's nothing like obviously insanely wrong with it. So she hops off, she looks, and so
I looked at it and I thought, okay, if it felt wobbly, which I could feel that it was kind of wobbly, but we were going at a pretty good speed, and I thought, well, maybe it's getting flat. And so I looked at the tire, and the tire looked fine to me, and I was like, no, it looks great.
I was like, no,
what do I know?
something is definitely astray here. So I jump off, and yeah, my wheel bearing on the front tire, it looked like a broken German cuckoo clock. There's springs and guts just going along. And I was like, oh, that's the problem right there. That's not good. And
basically, your bearings exploded.
Yeah, my right bearing disintegrated, and so there wasn't a lot of options. My brother was still how many hours away was he? Like an hour and a half, an hour?
Yeah, about that away.
And getting towed was not necessarily an option, so I just figured, let's get off of this highway that's under construction. We'll go 25 on the shoulder, and we'll get off and say avoid highways on Google Maps. And that's what we did, and we slowly trotted, and I wasn't liking it.
There was a very friendly local gentleman on a motorcycle who saw that we were in trouble, and
we pulled over at a church.
Yeah, he stayed with us to make sure that we were okay. And
who do you call when you break down in the middle of southern Illinois?
Brendan Hack!
Brendan Hack! The guy you traveled with 2 years before, that's much smarter no matter what continent he's on, and can truly help.
Now, we met Brendan and Kyra Hack in South America, in Peru. We had all sorts of adventures and got ourselves into lots of trouble with them.
Yes. We're very thankful that we were with them. Because
yes. Very knowledgeable people.
They've towed us out of situations.
Yes.
He's, helped diagnose a broken kickstand sensor. He's a genius. He is somebody that I'm very glad that was along with us.
And, ironically, he had also kind of blown up his wheel bearings in the front in Bolivia with us.
Yeah,
and so we knew if there's someone who knows about this, it'll
Bolivian
be him.
salt flats. And
yes.
The salt flats, they're beautiful and amazing and picturesque. But by God, can they destroy electronics and anything with grease, no mas grease.
Not the best idea necessarily.
So yeah, he got into a little predicament with his bearings that had blown up, and so I physically watched him repair them. So yeah, I called him, I kind of gave him the diagnosis, and I had him on WhatsApp video, and I said, this is what it looks like. Would you travel the rest of the hour going slowly? It doesn't, I'm not going to mess anything more up. It's already,
Well, that's what he said. Yeah, he said you've probably, or you might have already done all the damage you were going to do.
I need a whole new front bearing reassembly kit. I knew that, so. Well, cool. Well, yeah, that's the reassurance and the answer that I wanted. That whatever. Like, again, nice if you rode it in Bolivia and were able to repair it. You got it, brother. Cool. Peace, dude. Bye. Let's do that then.
So just chug along.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, he did not recommend that we just continue riding on it, but he said if there's no other really good option, it is an option.
And we took back roads. I was only doing like 25 for a good, 20 minutes, and then I got a little bit more. And I was
got
doing
faster,
35, and and it felt
wasn't so bad, yeah.
But it didn't. Things weren't absolutely crazy. So, we made it to my brother's house and dumped it in the garage. And then I was able to kind of freak out. Well, not freak out. I was able to, figure out what the next step was.
Exactly,
we got ourselves out of immediate danger.
Yeah, and you know what? I am really proud about that because we've had a lot of breakdowns before, and they haven't always gone well for us emotionally. Sometimes we think, uh-oh, this is really bad, and why is this happening to us? And we kind of have a freak out moment.
Yeah.
Whereas this time,
on the side of the road,
we were very zen, I have to say.
I had a Wrath of Khan moment where it was, no!
Yeah, you only had one of those.
Yeah,
it was just
and it
this
wasn't
one,
no, it was...
it was an expletive, that is true. But there was only one. And then after that, you were very calm. You're like, all right, let's figure out how to do this. And it was just positive attitudes. And that was great.
And a full trip of no tears, of family and awesomeness. We called upon the glass, the Father Glass, to save his daughter.
Ah, yes, we called upon my father to come and save us from Chicago, and he was wonderful. He drove, and we had to do this kind of like back and forth because the motorcycle was going to stay down south.
I had to take the front tire off. I ordered a new front axle kit to rebuild it. The problem here is this bushing has blown up. That's where my bearings are. And I'm hoping that there's not too much more damage than what I can see from here. So let's take a look. Alright. That's a cheap piece. That can be replaced.
Nice.
This is screwed. This is just the bushing. I think what we saw on the road is the spring for the bushing that had come out. And then this side is good. The real damage happened in here.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is smooth, huge dip.
Yep.
This bad boy the bearing that is no longer exists. And then there's a bearing on the far side too. But the motorcycle could stay there, and I could take the whole front wheel off and take it with me to Chicago.
Yeah, where the part was going to arrive.
And then
where the people who knew what they were doing were going to be.
Yeah, so her dad came and rode the 5 hours down.
Yep.
And picked us up, and then Marissa and I traded back and forth driving back up to Chicago. And I got the part, and my buddy Aaron helped me install.
Thank you.
Yeah, because taking out bearings, that pretty much like you toss a frag grenade in, and there was nothing like to grab onto. So it was a fairly difficult process. But he had some good tools, and what's even better than tools sometimes is knowledge.
Absolutely. And when you stuck your finger in there, it was like powder, right?
It was just...
it had pulverized.
Just shrapnel, yeah.
Like metallic, just, it's gone. It turned into, space dust.
Well, earth dust.
Motorcycle
earth dust. But we got it fixed. Then I took Amtrak down back to Southern Illinois, put the wheel back on, and brought the bike back to home in Chicago and parked it in the garage, and I hoped that was the end of our troubles.
We were really a little bit stressing out because we really wanted to be in Loveland, Colorado for the Overland Expo, and we were on the ticket. We were going to be presenting. We were we said that we were going to be there and we wanted to be there. And so it was a big obligation for us.
Yeah.
And we were just hoping, well, hopefully the bearings are fixed now and nothing else is going to go wrong.
There's still this sporadic problem of the bike just not starting sometimes, which I didn't know what it was, but it seemed to be doing it not as often as it had in Florida. And so I was just hoping it'd kind of go away. But it's one of those things that if you don't fix it and it just goes away by itself, it's even more nerve-wracking because at any point in time, the little gremlin can pop back up and kill the bike. So I was hoping that all of my bike woes were over. I still had this unsettling feeling that it just wasn't up to 100%, but we were running out of time, and I felt that we just needed to leave early just in case something bad happened on the road. We'd have enough time to resolve it.
Which it was really only a few days early.
Yeah.
Calculating how many days it would take us to get from Chicago to Colorado.
Well, it should have
early.
Only taken us, 3 days?
4 days,
4 days.
yeah.
Yeah, so in the next episode, spoiler alert.
See if we all our hopes and dreams came true or not.
But there are heroes in the next episode.
That is true. Every adventure has a hero, I think.
Yes, this is true. I just prefer it when it's me.
But we will see in the next episode who the hero is and what the disaster is as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give us a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below. And we will be seeing you next time.
Peace, everybody.
Bye.
Stay safe.